Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Aisha, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my experience with Persimmon homes so far. I guess this video is an update on my previous video, which I will link in somewhere here so that you can watch that. So that was before I actually moved in, so now I've been living here for a few months. I know that a lot of people are wary about buying from Persimmon, and so in today's video I'm going to be just talking about my personal experience. Obviously Persimmon are nationwide, so they cover the entire UK, and one person's experience is going to be different to another person's experience. So this video just focuses on my personal experience, so that just includes the people who I've personally encountered and my personal house, my personal site. I'm sure you can find other people out there who can share their story on how they're finding it in their house, on their site. Before I get into the video properly, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has supported this channel so far, for everyone who's watched even just a second. Thanks to those who've liked the videos that I've been producing as well, and who've left comments on the videos, because those two actions really help to send the video out to more people so that more people can see it. And everyone's combined efforts meant that I'm able to get monetized now. So the pennies are literally pennies rolling in, and so that's down to you guys, so thank you. Hopefully there's going to be more to come on this channel. So now that I'm monetized, I'm going to be figuring out ways to structure the channel properly and produce more consistent content for you guys. So stay tuned, there's lots to come. Okay, so onto my journey so far with Persimmon. This house was finished 6 months ago. It was finished in April, but I only got the keys in May, and then I didn't move in straight away. So I've probably been living in the house for about 4 months now. I think I've already explained the buying experience in the previous video, so no issues with the buying experience. Everyone was lovely, the sales team was lovely, they all helped out, they went over and above beyond what they were supposed to do to be able to help me to complete on time, and so I literally have no issues there. The only thing that I did encounter, which I don't think I said in my previous video, was that there was a slight discrepancy on the price of the property. Before you can reserve with Persimmon, they actually ask you to speak to their mortgage brokers to qualify you to see whether you're just messing about or whether you're actually genuine and you can afford one of their properties. So when I came up to speak to the sales team, the mortgage company had to call me while I was in the show home. I just did it all the same time, and because it was such a rush, what had happened is the sales lady had given the man on the phone that I spoke to the wrong price for the house, so they'd switched two of the digits around, and so he told me the property price was cheaper than what it was, and so I had written down that figure and we'd gone through everything based on that. And so when the paperwork came through, there was a different price on it and the digits were the other way around. So I queried it with them and they were like, no, that's definitely the price. And I think I'd seen something else online that suggested there might have been a variation in price as well. And she was like, I don't know what you're looking at. That's the price of the house and that's what we sell them for. That's what everyone's buying them for. And so I was like, well, okay, I do think he did say that though. So because the price was a little bit more, I said to them, do you know what, if this is your price, actually down the road, well not down the road, but not too far away at another site, they have bigger houses that are with a garage, and I can reserve one of those for the same price because obviously that area is a more affordable area. So what they did was they actually went back and listened to the recording of the sales lady speaking to the mortgage broker, and that confirmed that she did actually say that price. It wasn't just me making it up, because after a while I was like, maybe I did get it wrong. Maybe I was the one who wrote down the wrong thing, but it wasn't me, it was them, and they admitted that. And then what had happened as well in the meantime was the solicitor had sent me through the starter pack thing, and she had put another even higher price on that form. And so I'm like, come on guys, you're just taking the mick here. I'm not paying either of those prices. This is the maximum I'm willing to pay for this house, considering it has a smaller garden and considering I can't choose any of the finishing touches because somebody else is already reserved. And then they accepted that, and so I got the house for a little bit cheaper, as well as all of the extras on top of it. So that's a tip that I would give to anyone who's looking at buying a new build from any developer really. Have a look at the other developments that developer has in the area, compare the prices for the houses, see if you can get a better deal for your money in another area, or see if you can negotiate on the price for your area based on what is nearby. So that whole process is fine. Like I said, I can't fault them at all. That was just that one tiny thing that ended up working in my favour. The other thing they were really good about was letting me get into the property. So because I reserved quite late, the property was pretty much done, and so I was able to get in. I was able to take some measurements. They left me in the house for hours to just have a look around, make sure I was happy with it. I was able to bring my mum up, and there was no complaints from them. They didn't rush me at all. They just let me do what I was doing really. So in terms of snagging, I've had the 7-day snags so far, and I've had the 30-day snags so far. And what I did was I went for the retention scheme, and that's basically if there's any issues, you can ask the solicitor to hold back a portion of the money and they don't give it all to Persimmon. So if there's like any major issues or anything like that, whatever's on that 7-day snag list, they have to complete that before they actually then can get all of the money. Not all banks will go for the retention scheme. I'm not quite sure why, because really it protects their money as well. Because why would you give everything to a developer if the house is in really poor condition? I don't know, but my bank went for it, and so I was able to go for it, and it just seemed like a no-brainer really. What I've seen other people doing is actually getting a snagging company to come in like right at the start when they get their keys, and so they list everything that's on the snagging report on that 7-day snag list, and so Persimmon are obligated to fix all of those problems that might occur on the snagging list before they can get the money. So that's something that you could do, and it is legitimate. I think I saw some comments like on the group online where some people were saying they didn't think that it was something that was legitimate. They do actually hold that money back, and they don't release it until you have to sign the snagging form. And then once you've signed the snagging form, the solicitor will get in touch to say, oh, I've heard that your snags are all complete on your 7-day form. Are you happy for me to release the money? And then they send the money. So Persimmon will not get all of their money. I can't remember the percent that they hold back. I'll put it on a little note, but they don't get it until you say that they can get it, basically. For me, I didn't get a snagging company to do it. My plan is to get a snagging company to come in before the 2 years have ended, so that I can just have a look at anything that I might have missed, especially in the attic, because I've not been in the attic yet, so there could be anything up there. It was just opened on the home demo day. Other than that, I've not seen it, I've not been up there. I have a bit of a fear of attic spaces because I just think there's loads of spiders in there, which that may or may not be a legitimate fear, but I'm definitely scared of attics, and I didn't go into the attic in my last house at all. So yeah, I'll get a snagging company to come in, check everything properly. Obviously they have more structural knowledge than I do. I can see everything is visually in order. I can point out, you know, things that are basic that I might be aware of. I can check room sizes, I can check certain like requirements and distances and things like that. I can do that. But in terms of the actual physical structure, like I don't know about roofs and how they're supposed to be built to code and things like that. So yeah, I'll just get them to come in before the 2 years is up, and then hand that list over to Persimmon so that they can do that before that 2-year period ends. You do also have 10-year building warranty as well from the NHBC. I think I said that the right way around, but that's more structural. So if you want like cosmetic things done, then that has to be done before the 2 years is up. So one of the silliest snags that I had was, I think I mentioned this in the cloakroom makeover video, there was a massive hole behind the radiator in the front room. And to be honest, that was quite inexcusable because it was a massive hole. And after the works, like the main works are done, the painter and the decorator has to come in and paint. And it's like, you painted behind that radiator, you saw a massive hole and you said nothing. That's just silly. For me, I just don't think I would let someone see that, because obviously it's something that they're going to be like, oh, Persimmon have done this. It's just something that is avoidable. And the majority of the other things were just surface level things as well. There was a crack in my, I think it is the fascia or the soffit, I always get them the wrong way around, the plastic bit above my front door, which they fixed that. I wanted a bit of extra silicone around some of the windows, which they did. I had scratches and chips in my window frames, not lots of them, they were tiny and they were minor, but obviously you move into a new build, you don't expect scratches. And I think one of the doors had a scratch on the glass as well, and so the window company came in and they fixed the glass, that was fine, and they replaced the frames for the windows. But actually the guy, and it's like a subcontracted company, he just did a rubbish job. It's like he came to fix a few tiny minor scratches and chips, and then he just, in the process of fixing them, added way more scratches into it, and he left it dirty as well, which I wasn't happy about that. So that's not directly a Persimmon issue, it's the company that was subcontracted out to do that. And it's like, again, if you have been sent to do a job, you're supposed to remove scratches and not add them in. I just don't understand why people don't double check their job that they're doing and make sure that they're leaving things better than how it was in the first place. Because honestly, if I'd known that was how he was going to do it, I would have just said don't bother, because they were so minor that they just weren't an issue at all. So now what I'm going to have to do is email them, and it's been a while, but I still need to email them and tell them to come back to fix the scratches that they added, because they didn't do a good job, and that's not cool. But I'm sure they'll get it done. But the only problem with windows is that it takes forever to get the parts in, and I think that's like a general issue at the moment. Windows are some of the things things that have had delays on them. So yeah, that was pretty much it for Snags. It was just general stuff. Obviously, if I wanted to be even pickier, like the paintwork, I could probably paint better than what they did. It's not as smooth a finish as what I would expect if you're going to paint. Again, just paint properly, go in one direction or whatever. You can see where he's painted. But because I plan on doing my own thing anyway, that's not something that I've raised. And again, if you use one of those snagging companies, a lot of what you get on the form will be uneven paint or silicone or something like that. Just really minor things that they bring up as issues. The gentleman that did the snags also did extra things for me. So one of the things he did was in the kitchen, I couldn't change one of the handles. The dishwasher handle, I couldn't figure out how to get the door off. He did that for me. Also, where I had my floor laid in the hallway, there was a tiny little gap by the door because my builder had 2 different sills that he was giving me an option for, but I didn't like them because they were a wood colour, but they weren't the same colour as the floor, so it didn't look right. And so he found one from Persimmon that he found in the office somewhere, and it was just a black one that he put across the door, which I was happy with. So he did that for me, which wasn't his job. Really, it should have been finished off when the floor was done, but I just didn't like the options that were available. Also, where my builder didn't finish off the plug socket in the hallway cupboard, he didn't fill around it because I just said I would do it because he was on a tight schedule and he was traveling from far to do the work. So there was a lot of things I just said I'd finish them off, but he did it for me. He just filled it for me when he was coming in. And so yeah, he did it for free. So that was the 7-day snags. And then at 30 days, you get another form to fill out, which they didn't actually send it to me. I requested it because I'd noticed a couple more things that I wanted to add to the list. On the 30-day list, I had things like the locks on some of the windows upstairs. So because the windows double up as fire exits, they're not supposed to lock, and my windows had locks on. And the guy who was like I don't know whether he was like the site manager or what, on the home demo day, he was the one that actually noticed it, and he said he was gonna get it sorted out, but for some reason they didn't do it before I moved in. So I just said to them, does it need to be changed? And then they said, yeah, it definitely does. And so they just came and they capped them off for me so that was done. But again, a bit of a silly mistake. If you know that upstairs windows aren't supposed to have locks on, then just put windows without locks on instead of having to then come back and cap them off. The other thing that they did was they came and they recaulked the shower. So that's just something that's normal as the house is settling. Things will come apart, you'll get the cracks, you'll get the silicone peeling away a little bit. And so they just came and redid that bit. Out of all of the little minor things like that, I thought that recaulking the shower was quite important to do because you don't want the water to seep through and then start to cause rot behind the shower. So I got them to come in and do that, which they did. Again, no problem, they did it very quickly. Also, what they had to do for me was change one of the plug sockets because I couldn't plug a plug into it. One side was just a little bit faulty, and I think I found another one that does that as well. I thought I'd check them all because I didn't want him to like come and then have to come again, but he's gonna have to come again. So I found another one. So that's 2 plug sockets where the plugs just won't slot into one side of them. And again, they come quite quickly and they just switch it out for another one, so it's fine. I think it kind of might have worked in my favour though, because I might not have to then call an electrician to come separately. I'm going to ask him if he can, as a like extra job, put the lights up for me in the hallway. So I might be able to get like it just done all at once, which would be good. So the one thing that's taken a long time to sort out, and is probably quite an easy thing, and so really it's probably quite inexcusable that they haven't done it yet, is that they're supposed to wash the bricks on your house before you complete or before you move in, and they haven't done that. So my bricks on the outside of my house are really dirty, and again, they noticed that at the home demo. He said it would probably be done, but it never got done. I thought they'd forgotten about it, but about 2 weeks ago or so, someone knocked on the door and was like, yeah, you need a brick wash. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'll come and do it. But he still hasn't come, so I don't know when he's coming. I think it also works out in my neighbour's favour as well, because I don't think they realise that their bricks are dirty and that they're supposed to also get a brick wash. So me requesting one for me, I think they'll both get done at the same time, which is nice for them. The other thing they did for me for free on my 30-day snagging list was they changed my locks on my door for me. So before I moved in, obviously I lived far, I couldn't keep coming back and forward for builders and for snagging and things like that. So I gave the man who did the snags the key, and he just posted it back. And also I gave my builder the key, and he had it going back and forth. So obviously when I moved in, I'm by myself, so I need to change the locks. What I'd actually done is I'd asked them what the name of the lock was or what the type of lock was, because I was just going to go and buy one and do it myself. But she was just like, no, I'll put it on the list and he can do it when he comes. So again, they just did that for free. I got a new set of keys, and yeah, it was just no dramas. So what I found is that they're very good at doing not only their own things, but extra things as well. So the door lock, they didn't need to do that. Filling the cupboard in the hallway, they didn't need to do that. Finding the bit for the door, they didn't need to do that, so that's a good thing. According to the man who does the 7-day snags, this is Persimmon's best site apparently, and so it's no wonder that the snags that I'm seeing and that other people seem to be quite happy as well on the site. I've not seen any major works being done just yet. I've not heard anyone complaining. I've not seen anything pop up online to say that there are issues, and so I guess people are generally happy here. Okay, so that's the good stuff. The not so good then is literally the main complaint that I have about this house, and I absolutely love my house. Love the size of it, for me it's perfect. Love the layout of it. I absolutely love living in this house, with this one exception. So obviously this house is a semi-detached house. I know you can get some Hanburys that are mid-terrace, so it'd be really interesting to hear if anyone has a mid-terrace Hanbury, if they could comment down below what it's like for them in their house. But on the attached side of my house, it is just so noisy. The neighbours next door, I think they're quite heavy fitted and they don't close doors and windows. They slam doors and windows, and you find that some people are just naturally heavy-handed and they don't think about, you know, pressing the little lever down and shutting the door. It's a slam. Everything is a slam, and everything is like running up the stairs. Also, they have dogs. I don't know whether it's their dogs running around or whether it's them and they're just heavy fitted, but I think it is them. Like, they're quite noisy, and so there are times where they've come in like on a Saturday night, Sunday morning, it's been like 2:45 and they're just banging around. Don't know what they're doing, doesn't sound productive, but it's very noisy, and I'm a very, very light sleeper. So yeah, it's really not ideal to be woken up at 2:45, especially when like I have trouble sleeping sometimes anyway. So then when you finally get to sleep and then 2:45 someone's like waking you up, it's not great. I do have to say though, in all fairness to them, is that one, obviously I'm a musician, so when I'm ready to play my piano, I do that. When I'm ready to play my clarinet, I do that, and they just have to, I guess they can hear me. The thing is, I can't hear conversations over there. I can't hear anything other than vibrational noise, so it's the slamming and the banging. And then if their dogs are in the garden, like now, you can probably hear a dog barking. I think that way they're playing with their dog. So if someone's outside, you can hear them more, especially if the vents are open. But I can't hear conversation at all. I can't hear any other noise, just the vibrations. I'm assuming they can hear me when I play my instruments because music has vibrations to it as well. I don't know, maybe that sound travels through to them, and maybe for them that's annoying. There has been a couple of times when I'm like playing my piano not very well, because I've already said I'm not a proper pianist, and then they just go out and walk the dog and you see them like walking past, and I'm like, am I annoying you? I don't know. But it's during the day, and I don't play or make any noise after, I think 11 p.m. is like the cutoff for making noise at home or for disturbing neighbours. So I have a time where I'm just like, no more, not at 2:45. But so yeah, in all fairness to them, they do have to put up with that. And in all fairness to them, they're not as bad as the previous neighbours that I had. Their baby would just scream all night. I didn't get any sleep at all. So it's a step up, for sure. So I definitely think my next house would have to be a detached one, because I've had that problem. At my flat, there was noise. The guy upstairs would just be banging around. He used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning making noise. Then at the other house, it was semi-detached and the walls were paper thin. There was a lady who moved in and she had a baby. The babies would scream. There was about 4 children or so in that house, and they were just noisy. They would run around all day, they would scream all day, and the baby would scream at night, and so it was just chaotic. But yeah, and that seems to be like a common pattern for me, so I think next time just get a detached house. The only other thing I would say about this house type is that it doesn't come with a garage. So it's one of their 3-bedroom houses that don't have a garage, and for me, I would like a bit more storage that's outside. So the 3 cupboards that I do have, so under the stairs, in the hallway, and in my bedroom over the stairs, those cupboards do have great space in them. They are much bigger than they seem, as you can see if you've been on my Instagram. One of them I have the tumble dryer in, and I've got a whole storage unit. I'll probably put a picture in so you can see what I'm saying. So it's quite good storage, but like I have a lot of tools which are being stored in the house, and that's space that could be used for something else. I'd quite like to have a garage that I can maybe convert into another room, or just have to just store my bits and pieces. So that's another thing that I don't like about this house. Other than that, it's fine. Sometimes I do wish the other house at the other site would have been ready on time, because that was slightly bigger. It was a Hatfield, which is detached, and it has a garage, so that would have been perfect, and it was a similar price to this house. But it wasn't ready on time, and everything happens for a reason, so I'm happy to be here. But yeah, a garage and a detached house definitely on the list for next time. So there was actually one other thing. So in terms of mold, I had very small amounts of mold in the kitchen, in the corner cupboards that I attached to the other side, and there was a tiny bit under the stairs in the cupboard, so just along that stretch of the wall, tiny little bits here and there, which I just cleaned with bleach. I think I cleaned some of them with bleach, and then when the guy came to do the 30-day snags, he was just there, so he just did it, and it hasn't come back since. I've not seen anything since. So just a little bit of bleach, got rid of that. That was partly my fault, at least the understairs cupboard one, is because they do tell you the house has to dry out. You're supposed to keep the doors open in the night time, and there was a couple of days where I just kept it closed, just absent-mindedly forgot about it. And then when I did go back to open it, you can see the mold was starting to try and grow, but not seen it since. It's been months since then, and it's not grown back at all. It'll be interesting to see how the house stands up now that it's in the wetter weather. So it's getting colder, it's getting wetter. How does the house stand up? Maybe I'll do an updated video and let you know how I get on. Also, I think with the kitchen cupboards as well, because they're obviously also closed, that's where it kind of gives it the right temperature to kind of grow a little bit of mold. But I've still kept them closed and it hasn't grown back, so I don't know. Maybe if I had kept those open a little bit at the start, it might not have happened again, I don't know. So I don't personally have any regrets buying with Persimmon. I think that my house is well built. I think that they've been great in terms of their customer service. I think they've attended to their snags in a timely manner, apart from my brick wash, which I will email them about to find out when they're coming. And it's all in, everything's in hand. I love my house, I actually do. The only thing that I have regrets about is obviously the house that I chose. I think if I'd chosen a different house that was a detached house and that had everything according to what I required, then I think I wouldn't have any complaints because there would be no one making noise next to me. So you got to buy according to your budget though. This is what I could afford and I'm happy with it for now, that's fine. The only thing I would say that's a negative in terms of Persimmon is their house plans. I think that their plans are, they have some houses, like this house I think is a good house, kind of the layout of it and the amount of space depending on the people that buy the house. But I think some of their plans, like they don't have hallways, some of the rooms are smaller than what they should be according to specifications, which I did a video about. So if you're interested in hearing about how big things should be or how many people should like live in a home, I'll put a link to the video. But some of their houses just have rooms that aren't supposed to be bedrooms, but they're kind of passed off as bedrooms. And I don't think they are the only company that do that, but there are companies that will give you proper rooms. So like if you go to Barrett Homes, for example, you check their plans out, their plans are all fine. A company like Redrow, again, their plans are fine. Their smaller rooms are still bedrooms. And so yeah, that's my only thing with Persimmon, is that their rooms are small. Another thing I would quickly talk about is the garden. So I obviously got free turf in my garden and I got a free shed. I think according to the plans, it looks like if you don't have a garage, you get a free shed. So I have a free shed, which is great to be able to store bits and pieces. I've dug a little bit so far in the garden for where I wanted to plant my tree and my flowers. And so far I haven't found anything weird under there. I know sometimes they put like rubble under there, they put random bits under there. I think I found a tiny little fragment of a brick and then everything else under it is just clay. It's just clay. I think what they do is whatever they dig up before they build the house, they just put it back down. So it's obviously clay underneath here. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions or anything that you want to know about my journey so far with them, you can write in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. I think some people are more comfortable sending messages on Instagram and that's absolutely fine as well. I'm happy to have a chat over there. If you want to ask me a few questions, that's fine. If you have a Persimmon home and you're currently like living in one and you have your own experiences to share, then again, feel free to put them down below. I don't want to hear from people who've just heard something in the news and then they're just like regurgitating what they've heard. First-hand experiences. If you have a first-hand experience and either you are unhappy or you're happy, whichever way around, it would be nice for you to put your comments down below so that other people can see and like build a better picture as well. Don't forget to like the video if you found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Just press that red button down below and you take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next video.